There we are. I'm making John do the music now. It's easier. But welcome to Eat Talk Repeat. It's another episode. We've got a special guest with us. We found you in a coffee shop.
Special guest appearance by
it's just downstairs.
Dr. Joyce Brothers.
My name is Dayvid Figler. I'm an attorney. And I also am the co-host of the podcast CityCast Las Vegas.
CityCast Las Vegas.
Oh, yes.
The second best podcast in Las Vegas, I have to say.
The best daily podcast.
It is
Yes,
a great daily.
you guys
Oh,
are
yes.
great.
You guys are fantastic.
Yeah.
And there's only lawyers in the building today, right?
Look at us go.
Yeah, look at this.
You know?
It just shows you what all that work and effort can result in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not-
go to law school
not
for 3
doing
years
law.
and then
End up podcasting for free.
about food.
Speak for yourself, sir. I work for a very legitimate company.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, we love your show, and you guys
Thank
often cover some great local food topics.
Once a week, actually.
Oh, is there a specific day that you guys do it?
Secret. If you haven't noticed in the pattern, it's almost every Thursday.
Oh.
We'll do food or bev.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're trying to undercut us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sneaky a little bit on Thursdays.
But and you come at food from all angles. We're basically restaurant-centric right here.
Oh, yeah,
More
yeah.
than
I mean,
you
we'll
guys
just
are.
do giant trends and, cuisine and
Yeah, I think-
competitive eating. You guys would never do competitive eating. Why
Like
would
us compete?
Except,
A, you
except
would never
with each
compete
other.
in eating, and B, you would never talk about, like, oh, the guy who ate the 18-pound burrito in 2 minutes or less.
We
That's
did
not your
talk
thing.
about Bagel Mania. They were doing their
they
So
have.
we talk about
No,
a little
ish.
bit of
Okay.
everything.
Ish.
Okay, before we go much further,
You're more high-end. We cover the spectrum.
Okay.
let's introduce ourselves.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now
Sorry.
introduced-
I just thought you gave me a prompt to talk about myself.
I know, and
I'd
which-
okay.
much rather defer.
Well, okay. I'm the least important person of the duo right now. I'm
hard to
Ash
argue with that.
Watkins.
I'm applauding.
Thank you. I love it. And
Big
then
fan.
John.
Long-time listener.
John brings the bona fides as always. What's your nickname this week?
I'm the indefatigable epicure this week.
I feel like that's your nickname.
No, well, grumpy gastronome.
Okay.
I like the for my friend David, the finicky feinschmecker.
Nice.
How about that?
I just say throw the dog a bona fide.
Throw the bone.
Wait,
like
throw the bone a dogified? That's a good one.
the
Anyway,
dog a
John
bona
Curtis,
fide.
find me on Twitter at.
Really? You're
and-
still on Twitter?
Yeah,
It's defunct, I heard. It's
I know.
changed
No,
its
it's
name
where
I get a lot of
everything.
traction on Twitter, so I got to stay there. But at Eating Las Vegas, Instagram at John Curtis, JOHNCURTAS. I put the ass in Curtis. And you can still friend me on Facebook. I cleaned out my Facebook friends, so I have about 200 openings for new friends on Facebook now. So
200. That's
Wow.
it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
Get in while you
no,
can.
no, I have thousands, but I mean, I've got
Thousands.
like an opening for 200 before I max out at whatever they tell you the max.
Do you think most of your friends are people who love you or people who love to hate you?
I would say it's about 50-50 because I've got some real haters on Facebook.
You
It's
do.
like,
You
there
do.
you go again.
You do.
You know. When are you going to stop kissing Jose Andres' ass? And
My
I think,
favorite is when you say something, they go, is this you? And they bring up something from 27 years ago.
Yeah, or
that you posted.
My second favorite is stick to food. Okay, I love that one. Like they completely discount the 39 years of lawyering I did beforehand, lawyering, judging. It's like stick to food. That's the only thing you're qualified to talk about.
That's what we want you for. Stay in your silo. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
right.
here for.
So where can they find you, dear Ash Watkins?
I'm the easy one at Ash the
That's
Attorney.
what they all said in high school.
No. I was grumpy in high school.
I was going
No.
to say probably complicated.
Yeah, it was complicated.
Yeah,
I was
you
too
know.
busy for anyone in
She
high
was the
school.
Rubik's Cube of crushes. People would have it, but they wouldn't know exactly how to solve
Do it.
it.
Exactly.
And then, like me, walk away after 3 minutes.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
now they
Yeah.
just slide into my DMs at Ash the Attorney, all platforms. Do you do Twitter or any X, I guess?
All social media, I am the same handle.
Oh, that's nice.
Oi Vegas.
Oy Vegas.
So good.
And before we get much further, great article this week, David, about the review of the last Showgirl.
Yeah,
thought-
little Vegas angle on that.
So David's not just another pretty face who knows a lot about coffee and cocktails, which we will get to later,
That's why I'm here.
and the downtown scene. But he also, he's sort of a polymath. he likes things about all different genres.
Freelance writing,
and you've done a lot of it, and some really interesting stuff. And you really sort of took apart in a very kind but incisive way the whole Last Showgirl.
The film with Pam Anderson and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, it was.
It's all set in Las Vegas. It was 18 days of basically guerrilla shooting at the Rio, at some friends of ours' houses.
Wow.
Parking lots.
A lot of parking lots.
Way
too many.
Is that easier on the permitting side?
I think so.
Empty
And I think
parking
also,
lots,
I mean, I pontificated that they had a location scout, who they said, who probably knows Vegas really well, but with the mission, find good Vegas iconic spots. And so they probably came up with a list, and then they used all of them. I mean, there's no intentionality about any of the places where the characters would wind up, as I say in the review, wistfully thinking about their lives. There was so much whist in this movie.
Yeah, people staring at off ramps to I-15.
Yeah,
and wondering just where did my life go wrong?
Wandering around the parking lot, the Luxor, because it was a nice backdrop, and it's just
funny.
Because that's what we do as Vegas people.
Yeah, and Showgirls really do that a lot.
Yeah, it was a fun review to do. It's over at bookandfilmglobe.com. Which is a
really
website.
fun read, yes.
Yeah, it's a fun website, actually, really much. Yeah. Much about the culture, more so than just film reviews, straight up, But they also review books and TV there, too. It's a nice pop culture site. And then we did, of course, the PublicUs stuff, too, which I don't want to sleep on, about the boring tunnels underground.
The boring tunnels, which are both boring and boring.
Boring and boring.
So,
yes.
and David sets it out really well. So, I could talk about Last Showgirl a lot. But, folks, if you haven't seen it.
You saw the movie.
I saw the movie.
I haven't
at the
seen
Beverly
it.
Theater.
Did you basically agree with me then?
I agreed with, I would say 90% of what you said.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was just... It was a very amateurish looking film. I mean, Pam Anderson, God bless her, she does a great job with it.
Great job.
So does all the actors do great. You could tell. You can't really fault a lot of the acting, but it just seemed to me it was fun to watch being a Vegas resident. But I would think it would be kind of boring to anybody else, or and a lot of Vegas people love to hate it. But I
think the director was trying to get that Cassavetes vibe, where just people talking and thinking out loud.
Hey, but before I forget, isn't her house? Her supposed house in the Last Showgirl, in your neighborhood in St. John Park or John F. Park?
Gypsy Wood's house. Gypsy Wood, the great performer in Spiegelworld, who does the plate spinning shtick. She was in Opium, and now she's back in Absinthe. They used her house with all her knickknackery, and that's one of my favorite parts of the film. Is that really is a showgirl's house.
Well, that's kind of cool.
I know, and if you've gotten lost and think you're on a movie review podcast, you kind of are. Yeah, I mean, but this is a food show. Next week,
bring it back.
Next week,
we have to?
Yeah, kind of. Next week, we're actually doing a fun show at Monzu.
Oh,
yeah. So Eat Talk Repeat will be on location at Monzu about 5:00. So come by, say hello. You're invited.
That's very sweet.
Well, he's invited depending on how he performs in the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, you know what? Good call. Good call.
Yeah. Constantly being evaluated in real time.
Are you ready to do... Well, let's do a quick... At the end of this, we're going to go through our reviews quickly. And I went to Yoon Noodle and Dumpling.
So did I.
I was supposed to go to Xiaolong Dumpling. Food Gal diverted me to Yoon Noodle and Dumpling. Mm-hmm. And then you also went to...
Kung Fu Noodle and Dumpling, which is brand new. And also went to Lamai.
Okay.
And you've been back to 1228 Main, I believe. And where else have I been, Food Gal? We haven't been out as much this week because we've had people in town, from Southern California and my son. So it's been a little rough. We did a cocktail crawl.
I ran into you.
Let's just segue now into our cocktail crawl because that's one of the reasons we have Dayvid Figler in studio. Because
I like drinking.
I like
whatever it is. It could be coffee. It could be cocktails. It could be a nice water.
When do you cut off the coffee? Is there a time and day where you're switch to cocktails?
2 p.m.
That's a good number.
2? Okay. Yeah.
If I drink caffeine post 2, I'm messed up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a middle-aged problem.
Yeah, it's a middle-aged problem. Mm-hmm. I will, however, because I do love coffee so much, and we are blessed with abundance down here in the Arts District, and I live down here. I will on occasion go for the decaf post 2.
Yeah. No,
I feel like that's sacrilege.
No.
And there's some places that do decaf really well, and it's all about the flavor at that point, and not just about the bolt. The mornings, I need my coffee, to get going now. My body is now wired to need coffee.
So is the food gals. Yes.
But I do enjoy the flavor of coffee in all its guises, including ice cream. We could talk about that in a second.
Oh, no.
Yes,
Coffee does not belong in ice cream.
No,
It
coffee
depends.
ice cream.
Yeah.
That's how I
If
got
done
into
well,
it.
if done well with
Yep.
good coffee, not bullshit
weeping.
coffee.
Okay, hold on. Let's stop.
Okay,
Back
we were
this up.
going- yeah.
Are we going to start with cocktails or coffee?
Well, I feel
Or
like
ice cream. Now we got it all.
No, I think we got to start in
Or
the order
movie
that
reviews.
One of my cocktails has an ice cream angle to it, so I'm just going to say.
When do you want to start?
I think it's natural that we do coffee first and then we go.
Yeah. So you asked me what my cutoff point.
Yeah, 2
Normally,
o'clock.
my caffeine cutoff point is 2 o'clock.
Okay, what's your go-to order in the morning?
Depends on, yeah.
Okay.
So I start my day at home with our Moccamaster 2000,
coffee suppository.
which is I highly
Is
recommend.
it really called Moccamaster?
Moccamaster is the cutting edge of. It's like,
have
what
to
if
look this
Mr.
up.
Coffee got a law degree? I mean,
Is it?
Moccamaster?
Oh, it's one word.
Moccamaster.
They're throwback design. They look very
Oh,
mid-century.
this is kind of cool.
They're gorgeous. The full price is a little steep, but I'm going to tell you, it's a perfect cup of coffee every single morning without fail. It's kind of like incorporated a not a drip coffee, a pour over into the drip automatic.
Okay, I need to look
Yeah,
at it.
this is
I
actually
mean,
kind of
it's
cool.
gorgeous,
I might need to
actually.
just
It's
buy
it's a
one.
nice piece.
So it's like a fancy Mr. Coffee.
It's a Mr. Coffee with a degree.
Okay.
And we almost exclusively use Vesta beans.
Okay.
And we're big fans of the Minor Jimenez.
Oh yes.
Okay, or for
Minor Jimenez.
Yeah. Not Major Jimenez. Minor.
Minor Jimenez. That's the name of the blend.
It is.
Been there, done that.
Being there. And we also like Double Down. That's nice for a little slightly
Oh
darker
yeah,
roast.
that's the espresso one. Or no, that's
They're all-
Goosebumps or whatever.
Goosebump. Well, they have a bunch there. And that's one of the brilliance of Vestas, and we're going to just start right into it, is
right.
that they are an excellent local roaster. They really know what they're doing. I mean, shout out to Tyler and the crew.
Yeah, he does a great
They
job.
do a great job with a nice variety of beans, and they source them directly. They've taken journeys down into South America to meet the farm and whatnot, and what they transport up here is the highest quality stuff, and I think they just do a great job. It's fun to watch. Sometimes you go in the back there and you could see the process.
All right, I got a bone to pick about Vesta. You know what I don't like about Vesta?
About the
all
roasting?
the no.
About the
No,
smell
wait.
of
Let me
the
guess.
roaster?
Wait, let me guess. It's
People's
probably
dogs.
It doesn't. No, I'm not going there.
it was going to be
I love Vesta. So
music and too
Well-
many people camped out. You can't sit anywhere.
Well, there's that. No, it doesn't smell like a coffee shop.
It smells like a roaster is what it smells like.
Well,
It always
I
smells like
walk
peanut
in-
butter in there.
To me, it never smells
thick.
like coffee. And a coffee shop should smell like coffee, especially one that does those roasting. I mean, and I love the coffee there, but I will debate you about cappuccino all the time because they don't know how to make a cappuccino there.
See, I'm the opposite. I actually like their cappuccinos better than I like their drips. But we start our morning with Vesta beans that we grind ourselves
on the Moccamaster.
on the Moccamaster.
all right.
The
We asked-
perfect
okay, we're
Moccamaster.
bringing it back to that.
And then sometimes I'll actually fill my, I'm such a good customer at Vesta
Oh,
that they
yeah.
gave me a
I
portable.
didn't get one of those.
They gave me the freebie.
We're
I got
basically
some
using their
swag.
Wi-Fi, and I
Well,
think
that's why.
You know.
All right. So I'll bring in my Vesta cup
Okay.
filled with Vesta coffee into Vesta, and then I will still order myself a
That's
cappuccino.
nice. Okay.
I'm like double fisting it. That's
Okay,
how I
wait.
start.
You say they don't have a good cappuccino.
It's variable. I drink it a lot, and some days it's good, some days it's mid,
Mid, yes.
and some days it's
Sus.
burnt and awful.
So I will
okay.
say, some days I walk by later in the day and it smells burnt.
Yeah, the
to
burnt.
me.
That's the roasting
Okay.
smell, and that's my significant other does not like walking in there when that smell
Mm-hmm.
is going, and she knows. She's like, just go in and get us what we need and take it out. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, and this is true with every coffee shop that I'm going to talk about. Oftentimes, it really does depend on the barista and the day that they're having. In much the same way that we talk about how judges had a good day
yeah.
or a bad day or what time of the day that you catch them. Baristas the same thing. So I'm not going to name names. It's not my job right now to call out people.
Bad
even favorites.
baristas?
Bad or good.
Oh, okay.
But I will say that if my eyeball catches a particular barista that I know
No
is
way.
not great, I will alter my order. Or conversely, if I see one that I know knows what they're doing, I will go to town and order like my specialty
All right,
drink.
that's a pro move.
That
but
is
it's
a pro
But
move.
it's a pro move that you have to be a pro and be there a lot to know.
Yeah. Well,
that's true,
versus
too.
somebody just wandering in off the street. Yeah.
And I like talking to my baristas. I like talking to them about coffee and find out what their level of interest and passion is. And we are not only blessed with an abundance of coffee shops downtown, we are blessed with an abundance of people who really love coffee, who are working in the coffee industry. That's almost universal in all the places that are my favorites.
How many places are there downtown to drink coffee, Dayvid Figler?
Well, to drink coffee or that present themselves as a coffee destination,
Right.
which would include 1228.
Would it include makers and finders?
Includes makers
Okay.
and finders. There are 18 places that I've identified
Shut up.
in the downtown area.
Okay,
Yeah,
wait, what's
I've
that?
created
So
a
it's-
list. And there was a 19th that only lasted 3 months and then it folded.
Which one?
Which one?
Coffee Religion went down on Vegas Boulevard in Bonneville.
Yeah.
It lasted 3 months and is out of there already.
But it was a stupid
Wow.
idea because there was no place
Yes,
to park.
correct.
You couldn't
All
see
the
the sign,
stuff.
and there.
Yes, it's true.
It was like,
And also
whose idea was
mid-coffee.
this?
Mid coffee.
Mid coffee.
Yeah, that was okay.
Coffee Religion's out on West Charleston, right past Decatur.
Yeah.
That's
Man,
that-
I do good tea, but I don't really, even though coffee's in the name, it's not one of my favorite destinations for coffee.
So
Okay.
18 places.
Yeah.
You know, it would.
And we're going to talk about a lot of them, but yeah, I mean, some of them just put coffee in their name and don't earn that.
Okay, rank them. Let's start
yeah.
ranking.
I'm not
You
going to
gotta-
rank
Just
them.
your-
I have
come
my
on, your
thoughts.
list is
I'll
in-
say top tier,
Okay.
mid, and
Okay,
bottom.
give us your
Okay.
top tier. Top tier.
I
We won't shit on anybody, so just give us our top and
and
mid
this is a
tier.
little controversial. Not all my friends love Vesta as much as I do, but I love Vesta. I have friends who won't go there.
Okay.
Because
Why?
they've had a bad experience in the past on one thing or another. But I feel like their complaints are somewhat misplaced. And Vesta, you will see me there most mornings. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's my start.
Well,
I see
then
Ash
I see
there.
a-
I see Sam there. I see you there as well.
We also see you at Bungalow.
Bungalow, which is also in my top tier.
Oh.
Now, Bungalow did a switcheroo on me. When they opened, they had
Sacrilege.
in my opinion, one of
are
the
they?
best roasters in the country were supplying their beans
Yeah, I remember they were importing beans.
from Arkansas.
Okay.
Actually, believe it or not, one of the best roasters in the country is out of Arkansas, and it's called Onyx Coffee.
Oh.
And they were also selling Onyx by the bag, but it was so ridiculous in markup. It was like $30 for 12 ounces of
Jeez.
coffee, 12, whatever it is, 120 grams or whatever it is. So we wouldn't buy the Onyx direct from Bungalow, but Bungalow did a really good job. And here's the thing too, if you are in the downtown scene enough, you see the movement of the baristas from one shop to the other shop.
Oh,
To
really?
the other shop,
I haven't
and you're
noticed that.
Oh, I know you from yeah. I
Like,
used to work over
waiters and bartenders.
At one point,
Yeah.
they all worked at PublicUs, also in my top tier.
Yeah, oh
Okay.
yes.
At one point, they all worked at PublicUs.
Wait, so what's the switcheroo? They stopped using Onyx?
They stopped using Onyx,
and
and now they use brandy wine, which is a good blend that they're using, but
Okay.
it's not my favorite.
Okay.
And so I feel like it went down a little bit when they dropped Onyx, but their baristas there are almost uniformly great.
Okay.
And they all do seem to have a special love of coffee. So, and I've mentioned 3 so far. So, right, we've got Vesta, we've got
PublicUs.
Bungalow.
and Bungalow. I'm going to also throw Mothership
Yep.
down at the Ferguson in there. That's my go-to for macchiatos. For some odd reason, there's just something that they do with the macchiato that's above and beyond the other places. I do kind of have my bev at each place. PublicUs has
That's
such
funny.
PublicUs has.
So this is the most arbitrary list. It's like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
go here
Arbitrary.
for this.
Yeah,
I go
yes.
here.
I do. Well, I'm the same way with
I
cocktails.
get
I'm
my
gonna be honest.
martinis here, my
Yeah.
No,
Manhattan's
that's true.
there.
That's exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same. So the only place I would really go get macchiatos is
Mothership. Okay.
I love the cobalt ceramic little glasses that they always make sure do it here. The thing that they do with macchiatos at Mothership that the others don't do is that they get the concept of a bone dry foam. And so you kind of get the foam on top of the macchiato as
Yep.
opposed to just like a mini cappuccino, which a lot of people treat macchiatos as. But I like it with a little bit of like dry foam on the top, just spotting my
Okay.
shot.
Right.
It just is a really nice sip.
I am learning right now that I am not a
I'm
sophisticated
so
coffee.
I'm
yeah,
too
I
deep
am.
in.
You
I'm
don't know
you're
about
just-
dry foam?
I don't know
sick
about
with
bone dry
coffee.
foam.
you?
Or
Yeah, next time you
why
get a
did we let you in the
cappuccino,
building?
ask for the cappuccino bone dry, and it's literally like a foamy foam
do
on
you know
top.
this?
Oh, I know about the dry foam. Yeah,
Okay.
because a lot of in France they don't put the thick layer of foam on as much as it's kind of
It's like a dollop.
It's a dollop, and it's very light and airy and whipped.
Yeah,
you know,
it looks like Ed Grimley's hair.
exactly.
You know that
It almost looks like lace. It kind of almost like foam lace.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Okay, so what's your go-to order? Cappuccino?
I'm just cappuccino guy.
Okay, wait.
I'm
And
not,
straight up dairy too.
straight up dairy. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't fuck
you
around
don't mess
with all
with
that shit.
the
the
nut
alt milks.
So I don't. I mean, I love cappuccinos because I just like. I like the intensity of espresso with just a small amount of the dairy to sort of just mellow it out with no sugar. And I'm always looking for that great blend of intensity, but also mellowness. It's like a balance that is so hard to get.
It really is.
And
that's a
then
test for any place.
Yeah.
And if they hand you a cappuccino and it's as heavy as like a bag of coffee, then you know that they gave you really a latte that they're just don't know
Okay,
how to
so
do
wait,
it.
why before we started recording, we were talking about lattes, and you said someone's favorite drink was a latte, and it was like
Well, latte is kind of. I mean, it's kind of like an umbrella drink. Okay,
It's more about milk with a little coffee than about coffee.
It's the coffee
There's
for
a time and place
for people who don't
lattes.
drink coffee.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. There is a time and place for it, and nothing wrong with them. But if you go, well, my go-to is a latte, I go,
You're not a coffee person.
Unless you're a fan of drip coffees, espressos, and the various permutations thereof.
Like,
you've
I'm
lost
never
me.
going to get a cappuccino at Dig It downtown, but they do a really nice job with sweet lattes. I'm just going to give them the credit for that. Dig It, as far as coffee snobbery goes, is very kind of mid-range, but their shop is top-notch. I get more work done there. It's very bright.
Yeah, it's
I
a
love
nice
the
space.
natural light that comes in. It's very comfy. They have reliable Wi-Fi. Service is always great there. They're cashless, which to me is like a wah-wah. But I like going to that space, especially if I don't want to like constantly run into people like John.
No,
Just will distract me.
No, it's funny that he says that. I will say this to the food gal some mornings. I go, I need to go. I mean, I need to put in some serious work on this, whether it's Facebooking
The retired guy needs to do
whatever I got to
serious
do.
work.
And I said, I don't want to go someplace where I'm going to be seeing people.
Yeah.
Sometimes I walk into Vesta and I know six
You know too
people in
many
there,
people.
and,
Yeah.
and I'll be there 45 minutes and won't get anything done. So So
Dig It's a great place to go
Okay.
work.
I like
and
the
you get
district
a
for
nice-
that too. The district is just tiny
I'm
and
stopped. I'm out.
okay. All
I'm
right.
out.
I'm not.
You just named my least favorite. Well, one of my
Ooh.
bottom tier coffee
I'm not
places in town.
recommending it as a coffee store, but it seats like 12 people,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's empty a lot of the time. So I
that's
like
true
it for
too.
that. Yeah.
No, I will give them
Iwana-
high marks on their sandwiches.
Sandwiches are great.
But
yeah.
they call it Deli District and Coffee, and that's one of my 18 places downtown. It's not a destination for coffee. Sorry,
But right
y'all.
next door-
Sorry, y'all. I love your sandwiches. Your sandwiches are probably the best sandwiches in the area.
Yeah. But right next door is Iwana Coffee.
Then get one.
Then get one. So your take on the Colombian family owned, and mind you, they have you know what a Colombian necktie is. If you don't,
Oh my
like
God,
Oh.
John, racist much? Okay, so
That's what happens with this show.
yeah, no, trust me,
Okay.
I'm a very
the mildest-
devoted listener to this show.
That's the mildest thing I'll say. But I'm just warning you because those Colombians. Okay, go ahead.
Here's my take on Iwana. Why did you decide to put a coffee shop in an area saturated with coffee shops in a way that doesn't distinguish you from any of the other coffee shops? There's plenty of other places that are bright and clean, which it is. There are plenty of places that offer the things that you offer, which they offer in a way that's not as good. They're not an elevated coffee place, so they're not competing with that. They're
Is that due to beans or baristas or?
It's just, I think it's a general philosophy.
Okay.
It's like, we just want to have coffee that we like, and that's fine. And they have their crowd and they have their supporters. And I'm hats off to them if they can make it in this market.
I just like the punching bag.
They've taken it down. It's down. Yeah, I know. We go there almost once a week.
Why?
I like the bad vibes sign.
Yeah.
No bad vibes.
Well, and I'll give you this. I won't judge Iwana Coffee on the coffee nerd level. Okay. And I mean that.
But that's what you asked me to do, because
no, I do.
otherwise it's a nice space, except they don't have enough outlets.
Are they mid or are they?
I'm not
Bottom
gonna
tiers
Yeah,
from-
yeah. I'm
as
not.
far as I'm
I
concerned.
can see what David's saying. I'm not gonna.
As far as coffee snobbery goes, it's a pleasant place.
That's what I like about it. It's a pleasant
it's
way. And we
comfy.
meet people
It's
there just
comfy
to
as
hang.
heck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like their teas.
And
Their
they
iced
did-
teas are
You know what?
incredible. I would like,
Solid. Yes, I only get teas there.
and
when I
they're
go
like
there.
herbal and light, and they're just really nice. And in the summer,
And the service is great,
yep.
and the people are super, super nice. And it's a comfy, clean, bright, a little purpley for my taste, but still.
Hey, easy,
Purple's
easy.
okay. All right, Prince, easy.
All right, the Colombians won't come after you now.
Well,
Okay.
no, I mean it's a fine place. It's just it's not competitive as a coffee destination
Okay.
in an area that has so
Let's
many.
recap the top, and then let's take a break. On the top tier, we got Vesta.
Vesta, Bungalow,
Mothership.
Mothership.
4.
4 on the top.
4.
No others. We're not missing any.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and that'd be my top 4 too. I would, yeah.
I'm trying to think if I would add anyone.
I
No,
mean,
I think
there's ones that are
I will
really
tell you
popular.
the bubble is Makers, and it
No.
is. Here's the thing. When Makers started out, John,
Yeah.
it was before Vesta even opened.
Yeah, it was an early pioneer.
They owned the coffee scene, and they had great baristas. Have been poached by
Yeah.
other places. I mean, one of the prime original baristas over at Makers is, to my understanding, still over at Samba Latte over in Boca, like running the show over there. Like they poached him. It used to be a really good coffee place.
Okay.
Now I will tell you this: if I walk into Vesta and it's like totally crowded, or if I'm going over to Esther's for lunch and I'm waiting for somebody and I just want to grab a coffee because Esther's doesn't really do coffee, I'll walk over to Makers and pleasantly surprise myself that they still got it. You just walk up to the little coffee
Side
order
there,
side,
yeah.
and you order, and I'll get a what I call a cubano, but it's like a Cuban cortado.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's so sweet, but it's delicious, and they're using decent beans, and,
I have to
and
go
it's
try
nice
that.
presentation. Yeah, to me, Makers still has it. It's just they've lost a lot in the translation of what they are and what they become. And as Josh, who's done a great job with Take It Easy and the rest of the stuff, and expanding the Makers brand, I think that downtown Makers is a little bit of a lost child when it comes to the coffee. They have the potential still. Though.
Okay, let's take a break. And when we
Yes.
come back, I want to hear about your hidden gem coffee spot. Like, there's got to be a.
Yeah.
You got one? Okay.
Yeah,
and then we're going to get into cocktails.
Yeah.
Because we're so spoiled down
Finally,
here.
something I know something about.
All right, we'll be right back.
I'm the best.
Personal injury law has been the same for a long time.
The best.
Big egos, greed, and sleazy schemes. We've had enough. Welcome to Sam & Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way, because you deserve a team that delivers real support and results. When you have both, your whole world can change. Sam & Ash Injury Law, because you deserve what's right.
And
We're back. Okay,
Droning on about coffee.
we love
That's
coffee.
what I'm doing.
It's,
I love
it's
it
clear.
too much.
one more
I'm
question
insane.
before we leave coffee for cocktails.
Well, one clarification that we went over during the break, this coffee discussion is strictly coffee. It's not taking into account food, pastries, etc.
Except we are taking into account slightly the ambiance
Yes.
of the
Yep.
place.
No,
the
just not
comfort.
the food.
Not the food. No, we are not talking about the food at
Okay.
all.
Now, I want to know, as the coffee snob that you are,
Yes.
what is your favorite, like, hidden gem? Like, what's underrated?
Well, one thing that I love doing
Mm-hmm.
is going to PublicUs, and because they have the most diverse coffee menu, and getting a 1-in-1 there. And
What is that?
Well, it's a industry standard.
Okay.
It's not on everyone's menu. Most places, if you have a barista who knows what they're doing, they can
Mm-hmm.
make you a 1-in-1. Publicus actually has it on the menu, and don't sleep on it. So what a 1-in-1 is typically it's a, you know, how when you pull a shot, it comes out in two
Yep.
streams. Okay, and so you get a single or a double, really. But it's the one pack that you're making that shot in of two in. And so what a 1-in-1 does, very simple. Usually a single origin, doesn't have to be, but
Okay.
usually it is. They'll pull the single origin, and so the one stream goes just into a little espresso cup, and then the other one will go in with what's basically a piccolo cappuccino, something a little bit more than a macchiato, less than a cappuccino, using that same shot with just a little bit of milk on top. It's like a,
But it's tiny.
It's a baby cappuccino, is what it is.
1-in-1.
It's called a piccolo, and then they will give you.
Can you just order a piccolo?
You could order a piccolo cappuccino anywhere, and
Oh,
if
okay.
they'll know what you're talking about. But it's it also comes with it comes with a little spoon, so you could break the Brahma, on top. But it also comes with a palate cleansing bubble water. And so you get the 1-in-1, and it's actually the most affordable way to order, if you want a double shot. And then the idea is that you taste the unadorned coffee first. You get the flavor profile. You kind of figure out what it is. Then you kind of cleanse the palate a little bit. Then you go and see what it tastes like with milk. It's a great experience. I love doing a 1-in-1. PublicUs is the only one that has it on menu, but I have been able to convince baristas, if it's not too busy,
to do it.
To fix me up.
Did you know about this? Because I feel like I've just had my mind blown.
Serious espressos in Italy are served with carbonated water.
I knew that.
To cleanse the palate before and after the shot, depending on...
So you're tasting the same single origin bean in its two
iterations.
presentations.
Yeah. So the one-on-one thing, I knew about piccolo, I knew about... I didn't know you could, that you could combine the two into a certain thing.
It's called a 1-on-1.
I'm just a coffee amateur over here, but we are spoiled downtown with coffee.
Oh yeah.
No, again, I mean, we've only mentioned 7 or 8, and there's still another 10 places that we could talk about.
And
are there more you want me to crap on? Because I will.
No.
Don't go too blank. Although I do love, I got echoey.
Yeah.
I do love writer's block. As a hidden treasure. People always forget. And because the coffee kiosk over there closes before the bookstore, that people are like, oh, that's disappointing. It's closed at, I think, 2:00. But it's nice to get the new book that you just bought, go outside, go grab a coffee from the kiosk. They know what they're doing.
We stopped going. We used to go there before COVID all the time. COVID shut it down. And one thing we're not mentioning is we're not going to talk about pastries, so I don't want to go. I don't want to.
Save the pastries.
Save the pastries.
Save the pastries, because but it's so interesting to remember that 5-6 years ago, none of these coffee shops existed. We have had such a renaissance in this thing, like David says.
Let's pour out a cappuccino to the Enigma Garden Cafe, which was the first coffee shop downtown.
Absolutely, yes. 1,000,000 years ago, before half our listeners were even born. But yes,
the Enigma.
But this was one coffee right down here.
It was on 4th and Charleston.
And it was fabulous, and it was like the artists, writers hang out. I mean, lawyers hung out there, judges, business people. It was kind of a bohemian place that was into coffee before coffee was
When
cool.
did it close?
2000?
Yeah,
2001?
Yeah, way a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pre-internet,
The city decided, in its infinite wisdom, as it always does, to make 4th... Well, before you were working for them,
yes.
They made 4th a one-way street, and that innovation, making 4th a one-way, took 3 years, and then essentially killed, in much the same way they're trying to kill Jive Turkey, killed access to the spot.
No, I agree with him. It was a place that everybody went to, and then suddenly it became a place that you had to. Hey, I'm not here. I got to go around the block and find the alleyway, and it was suddenly difficult.
That's the worst part about construction.
Also, all the workers there were on heroin at one point, so that also led to the downfall.
Details.
But it was the 90s. It was the 90s grind. It was a time of
Wasn't
nirvana.
Everyone? Okay, let's segue to after 2 p.m.
Yes.
When we get to, imbibe in cocktails.
So let me tell my little tale. And
I
want
to hear about this because I crashed it the other night.
So my number 2 son, Alex, was in town last weekend, and he was looking for something to do. He very just came in and out in like 3 days. Very nice. But we got done with dinner one night, and he said, I want to see what's going on downtown. And he's a big fan of Silver Stamp. Who isn't? Just really a fabulous beer bar, right there on Imperial. And I said, well, son, let's just, Echo and Sound just opened. So let's go downtown. I hadn't planned on doing this. So we get in the car. We park, we go to Echo, see Nat Young, show him the cool, groovy vibe there with the great sound.
Chef Natalie Young.
Chef Nat Young, wonderful.
Downtowner.
We ate a few nibbles, ordered cocktails, and I said, well, let's start. I'm going to take you on this little cocktail crawl. And then I suddenly realized that you can go between Silver Stamp, which is just 2 blocks down, Echo, Bar Ginza, Stray Pirate, and Liquid Diet, and all within about 100 yards of each other.
Yeah.
There's as many serious cocktail places as there are coffee places.
And Petite Bohème now.
And Petite Bohème, excuse me, that's the other place. I left that out. So I said we had to cut one out because I couldn't drink at 5 different cocktail places. So
What?
we cut out Petite Bohème, even though because I'd been there like 3
You're
times.
only 50 years old. What the?
I wish I was a young
A drink a decade.
a
Come
young
on.
buck of 55 again. But we did cocktails at Natalie Young's Echo are going to be superb.
Yep.
Then we went to Ginza and did a Japanese whiskey tasting, and that place just
Big fan.
just slaps, as they say.
Oh, look at you.
No,
I love it. I love when he
No cap.
millennials.
No cap.
Yeah.
Although you are wearing a cap right now.
But
Ironic.
I'm not even a whiskey fan. But the lady who came and waited on us, I think, is the wife of the owner.
They're co-owners.
Yeah, and they are great. And she explained
They're
all the
Nobu
whiskeys.
folk.
Are they really?
Yeah, I think
They're
I'd heard that.
Nobu
yes.
alum.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Oh, wow.
But
I
it's
didn't know
such
that.
it feels like you're in a little Shibuya alleyway, like I said before. So we had some Japanese whiskey then. Then we go over to Straight Pirate.
Ugh, love Straight Pirate.
And then we go over to Liquid Diet.
I go to Straight Pirate for the ambiance, not the cocktails. I'm gonna not lie on
Or
that.
service.
Well, it's Straight Pirates is a tiki bar, basically vibe, and all that.
It's a gimmick. It's like it belongs in Disneyland.
It is adorable as hell.
I know. I
It
love
is
it. And
nice
my
inside.
friends, whenever I take them in there, the greatest part is when the shark cruises by the porthole.
Yeah.
That they thought was just like a painted porthole or like a
Yeah.
like a little weird
Well, just the
monitor.
intricacy of the dog pirates.
Yes, and
I
I
love
love
that
that.
spot.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Straight Pirate.
Well, Straight Pirate is great. I'm not going to debate tiki drinks because they're not my thing. But we did end up at Liquid Diet, and Liquid Diet is cocktail nerddom on a different level.
It's
And
alchemy over there.
It's our last spot on every cocktail tour, no matter
is
where
so
we
cool.
start or how we kind of like fashion it.
Yeah.
All roads end at Liquid Diet.
So
That's the
explain,
nightcap.
David, cocktail maven Figler, why Liquid Diet is so great.
I think it has a lot to do with the care that they put into the ingredients. They have a commercial grade kitchen, but they're not serving food. They're just making stuff for the cocktails. I like the DIY aesthetic. I like the fact that they took over an old garage and it still looks like an old garage.
Yep.
They didn't try to make it look like an old garage.
And
they
the
didn't try to hide it.
The menu is scribbled on
Butcher
pieces of
paper,
butcher
yeah.
paper
and
hanging
when they're
above.
out, boom, pulls it right down.
Yep.
Right there, yeah.
And the horseradish
Shot.
vodka
Oh,
shots.
so
That's
good.
my go-to.
Oh,
That's how
my
I
God.
always
I love it.
start.
It
I
could
love it.
actually get me into being an alcoholic again. Okay.
I always
best-
make everyone
So good.
smell it.
Yeah.
Who's around me? Like they're like, "Oh, I don't want that." I'm like, "Just smell it. Just give it a sniff." And
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, that cleared me out."
The food gal, who is definitely not a cocktail gal,
Yeah.
even loved it. It's vodka and horseradish infusion of some
Whatever
kind.
they do their
God,
magic.
it's
They
great.
do a lot of batch work there, but
Yeah.
it's really nice. And they're people from the entertainment industry, who clearly love cocktails, and I think that their love comes through the cocktails. Now it can get crowded, and you gotta, figure out how to get the order in and where to stand and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
I go early. I mean,
Yeah.
every time I've been, it's like they're just opening.
So
when
do you
I
have
get
a
there.
favorite cocktail that's not the shot? There's a shot's $10,
Mine's-
and it's a shot.
The clarified like pico de gallo, I think.
love that.
It's so good.
The Pico de Gallo Michelada?
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
The
I think
horch-
that's it, right? Yeah.
We
Yeah.
had something called a horchata something or other
Yeah.
that was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now, my significant other, Ray, loves the date old fashioned.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
She
I
goes.
didn't have that.
She loves that one. That's like her go-to drink.
What's a
there.
rotating menu basically? And
It is. They do some variations on theme, but there's some like classics that are on
Yeah.
there all the time. The gimlet, the gin gimlet. Is,
Gin gimlet. I had the gin gimlet, which knocked
Perfect
my socks
gimlet.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's not a place you go in just so you know, folks. You don't walk in and go, I want I want a banana blueberry margarita, please.
Although they do have a banana bread
Yes,
Yeah, they do.
Chocolate chip cookie shot, drink,
bourbon
yeah.
or whatever
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
is.
and it tasted like banana bread
It's
in a glass.
gorgeous,
Yeah.
too.
To me, Liquid Diet's actually living up to the name craft cocktails.
Sure.
Like, I think so many people overplay that anymore and just, on their menu, they write craft cocktails. And it's just because it's, their house cocktails effectively. But they're actually, like you said, making infusions. The Pico de Gallo margarita, they're actually like clarifying Pico de Gallo that they make, and it takes like 48 hours or something. It's something
wow.
crazy. And
Yeah.
so they're actually like doing science projects to make these cocktails. And I think that's why I love it.
Well, the other thing is
It's gastro.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very, very, and,
Yeah.
and it's not easy to find either. There's no real signage on
Oh,
whether
you're
it
you're
took
walking
me a
up-
year to find
Okay,
it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I will say this: every time we take a new person down,
Yeah.
they're like, "Is this the Stabby tour?"
right, yeah.
And I'm like, "Come on, get over it." But
No, it's great. And there's a little.
It's not Main Street.
Yeah, it's not Main Street, but it's
off Main Street.
I hate to say it is the coolest cocktail bar in Las Vegas.
You.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I'm not even a cocktail guy. I'm a wine guy. But every time I go there, I'm like, wow, this place makes me wish I drank more.
Have you gone to Craft Creamery?
My favorite.
Really?
Now, asterisk.
Not for the food, I hope.
Not for the ice cream.
Not for the ice cream. Have you
Not
had
for
it?
Not for the bullshit to get back to the bar.
Yeah, no.
I'd like the scoop of the day and then walk through that faux freezer and then push. You got to pull and then you got to push and then and then the place is fucking empty. Sorry, the place is empty.
You can swear on this.
Beep, beep. The place is empty, but you had to wait 10 minutes to be seated in there.
Yeah.
That all said, once you get into the back room of Craft Creamery, it's gorgeous.
It is.
They did a great job.
It is comfy.
These emerald tones, comfy seating, comfy bar, consummate professionals at the bar. These like 3 guys that have been like, I'm sure bartending since they came of age, or before, who really know their stuff, who have whoever put together that menu. It's a solid. It's like an elevated herbs and rye menu. And herbs and rye has that great classic cocktail.
Yeah.
It's like a journey. I think Craft Creamery, and they call it the bar at Craft Creamery. They don't even have it makes no sense. Like, why? Speakeasies are so stupid, generally speaking.
The very concept of speakeasy is stupid now because they're not speakeasies.
No.
Speakeasies are bars that you can't find that are very secret. These are they advertise.
Bar.
You don't advertise speakeasies.
No,
okay?
This is a beautiful bar. Give it its own name, give it its own identity, and give me windows where I could see people enjoying the experience. I don't need a faux ice cream, although they serve ice cream, and I guess some people like it. I was not a fan of it.
You're about the 20th person who's told me the ice cream is horrid, so I
haven't even tried it.
But the food was stellar. But we're talking about cocktails. The food was really good. We had some great bites, and they have a tres leches cake that I went with some friends. They're still talking about that cake.
Wow.
It was so rich and so good. But the cocktails themselves, whatever you're getting, the bee's knees or whatever the hell, great cocktails and great garnishing.
I think that was our review.
Yeah.
The cocktails are really good and
very
they're
fine.
thoughtful.
Nice.
Very thoughtful.
And the service was
intentionality.
great.
It's the intentionality. Like what you were saying, Ash, about actually being a craft cocktail. I believe that is an epitome of crafting cocktails. Like they're really putting those together with intentionality, and they're not just, making something that they saw on someone else's menu. I think that they're really elevating the experience for the people, and the price point was fairly okay.
We're talking about well-priced. Two things I want to remind everybody of. I forgot I hate to circle back to coffee, but let's never sleep on the diner coffee at Winnie and Ethel's, because good old diner coffee has a place in the world too, right?
Yeah.
And let's don't sleep on the, I think, more simplified coffee menu, cocktail menu at Jive Turkey, which is a smaller menu, but they do
that's
some
simplified.
It's a smaller menu.
Yeah.
But Jive Turkey.
I will tell you this: Jive Turkey
is great.
I go for the bar bites. Their food there for bar food
Okay, what
is
are you?
great.
Oh, the nuggets. Those are the best chicken nuggets
since Bar Bistro. Remember Bar Bistro, post Tinoco, pre 18 bin.
Oh my God, you're going back.
It was Bar Bistro, and they had the best chicken bites ever. And now,
it was
Jive
it was
Turkey has filled that.
When it was a tapas bar, they was actually called it a tapas bar, and it was a pretty decent one. Yes, it was.
Yeah, I love
those chicken bites.
Jive Turkey's cocktail menu,
and the burger.
It's thoughtful. it is smaller, but it's well curated.
It's a neighborhood bar,
and
it's got neighborhood bar vibe all over it.
And they do it really well. And
you can't walk to it like you can Imperial and Main Street, like you can.
That's
the
true.
Other one.
I do wish
from
they
my
were,
house you could walk to it, except for all the road construction.
Yeah.
Now a lot of that's the BRT project from the RTC. I'd like all the letters.
Yeah, I was like, acronyms. Let's go.
Bus Rapid Transit from the Regional Transportation Commission. You're welcome.
Do you have a glossary that we can cite here?
I do. Well, I actually get the updates because I signed up for the...
Stop it.
So it tells me when I can't cross Charleston.
Oh, God.
So I know when I can and can't go to
that's
Jive Turkey. You know what I get at Jive Turkey? I get the weird shot.
Oh, I don't even know what the weird shot is.
The weird shot is half Campari, half Fernet. They
That
call
is
it a
weird.
Ferrari.
I've got to try this
You
because
better-
I
it
like
comes in a
better
little,
like
it comes in
bitter.
a little baby beaker.
You bitter like bitter.
I do. I'm an Amaro drinker. I love that stuff.
It's something.
Okay.
It gets me revved up at
Wow.
Jive Turkey.
Okay,
And then
so
I'm ready to order that hot dog.
Let's talk philosophically. I wanted a little I told you so here because I love to point this out to people who've known me a long time. I remember meeting with Mayor Jan Jones. How the hell's that for a long time ago?
She's still around.
Yeah, but back in the late 90s.
At Enigma.
And they had asked me at that time, they said, that's when I started just getting with KNPR and doing all the food stuff. We had a big meeting with the mayor and the city people, and they're going, how are we going to need to bring back the Arts District? That's when they're calling it the Arts District. The first Friday was hatched, we're talking like 97, 98. And they kept talking about all these highfalutin, like cultural ideas. And I said to them then, and everyone in the room looked at me like I was crazy. I said, you're not going to do it with art, painting, concerts. You're going to do it with food and booze. Okay. And they all looked at me like,
visionary.
Oh, shut up. What we need here is an art museum and concerts to come down to Main Street to bring people here. Well, I have the biggest I told you so ever, folks. But to the crowd, to everyone right here, including mostly David. So I predicted it. I know it was true. But what do you ascribe this explosion of booze that we're seeing here right now?
Honestly, the whole explosion of Arts District, but especially the cocktails, attributable to two things. One, people did not want to deal with the downtown project bullshit of Fremont Street.
Thank you.
Okay. What was starting out really cool on Fremont East pre the Zappos injection, Griffin, Beauty Bar.
Back when it was cool.
Even DCR.
Right.
All that before there was that influence was sort of organically becoming like a destination. Right. And that was building off some other stuff that had sort of presaged it. Saloon, you remember Saloon over at the Neonopolis. But once it just became total bullshit over there, like people were looking for somewhere else for that to happen.
Well, the shootings didn't help either. And people,
I mean, you can say shootings and fights, and that's everywhere in the valley, and you're not going to escape that. And, whatever. Atomic was still a dream at that point before its resurgence. And then singularly, I gave it up to Velveteen Rabbit. They went into whatever partnership. I think Wes Ispit, who was definitely a mover and shaker down here.
He was in that meeting I just talked about.
Oh,
yeah.
But he also owned that building that the Dialags either bought or however it worked out. I know he was involved early on in either as their landlord or some other aspect. But Wes had his finger in everything down here at some point on some level. And he owns the Arts Factory or owned the Arts Factory. And the Arts Factory is really where everything was happening downtown for a good 5-year period. That was like the only
from
hub.
like 97 to 2002 to 2003.
It was really it was much more vibrant and important than it is now per se. But the Dialags had a dream that they wanted to do something that was elevated, different. Talk about just coming up with witchery for cocktails and putting ingredients that people had not been experienced down here, and actually making it a fun vibe to go in with the artwork on the walls and all this stuff. So it definitely fit into the idea of an arts district, but also a place to gather, but also pure cocktail because they didn't do food. Initially, they had gaming there, which was, I think, a mistake.
Yeah, but they got rid of that.
I think they did. I don't think it.
But it became hugely. I remember it took off right away.
It blew up, and I think once that was there, and there were a couple other things. There were some art galleries, and there was the theater and stuff. And then Makers came on board. Then you get Esther's, and then of course, it's Legend after that. But I think that they showed that booze as a destination, as a cultural thing, could work down here. So all compliments to the sisters. They made something special for the time that has definitely, it's
held up too. It's still a great bar.
It's over a decade now.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that they've been down there and they took a chance. And I think that they're the proto bar. And now we're seeing all these different variations on things. You left out Treehaus, which I think it's its own entity.
In Esther's?
At Esther's.
Is it open every day at 5?
I believe it is.
Okay.
And they don't do food, and they do their own menu up there. It is a lounge within a restaurant. And I don't think that you could put them together. And a lot of that is a testament to the work of Jonah Gibbs, who was the
Petite Bohème,
creative force behind Petite Bohème, which is lovely. And we had a great experience. We've been back to Petite Bohème probably 3 or 4 times. And we finally did the martini, which is
I haven't had that.
It's $26. You're like $26 martini. Come on.
Yeah, that's steep.
3 martinis.
Yeah.
Okay. So I went there with my wife.
Yeah.
we ordered one martini, and it's a martini menu where you pick and choose the kind of, you want it dry, you want it shaken,
Oh, that's
you want
right.
the garnish.
They give you,
what kind of gin do you want?
It's like a Chinese restaurant menu, one from column A, one from column B.
No, you're creating your own martini there.
Build a martini.
It's a Build-A-Bear martini.
Yeah.
So you go and you get it. It comes out. It's a big pour. And then, like, you know when you go to a old school diner and you get a milkshake and there's the little extra?
Yeah.
So they go, they shake it up.
Yeah.
And then they'll pour the extra, and then they'll put the extra on the ice in a bucket for you. So it's waiting for you to refill. It's like, when you get sake and you just keep filling it. That's what we were doing with the martini. By the time we finished off the sidecar, is what they call it, we were done. It was like, we got
I only had one martini, officer.
That's it.
14 ounces.
It was $26. I'm going to say it was basically, $9 a martini, which is pretty good. And it was excellent. It was crisp. It was clean. It was everything you want in a martini. It was a perfect martini from where I stand. And that's the most expensive thing on the menu. Everything else is, I think, $16 solid.
Yeah, Petite Bohème is fantastic.
They're still tweaking the accoutrement of the snacks.
Yeah, well, that's a work in progress.
Yeah.
While I've got Ash here, I love to educate the younger folk.
About martinis?
That's all I'm here
You know my
for.
favorite quote about martinis?
No.
Okay, well, I've got about a dozen, but my favorite one is from Dorothy Parker. He'll remember this.
I remember Dorothy Parker. I dated her.
Yeah. I love a martini, 2 at the most. After 3, I'm under the table. After 4, I'm under the host.
I've heard this one before. That's it. Okay.
She was naughty.
Yeah.
Naughty girl, especially for 1925.
Sure.
Anyway,
Are we missing any bars?
Sure.
What did we miss?
we've hit Jive Turkey, and we hit all my...
You did hit Jive Turkey. I mean, we're not
Creamery?
mentioning ReBAR or Berlin.
Well, Berlin's more of a beer
dive
bar.
bars.
Yeah.
ReBAR,
It's cocktails.
ReBAR's a little something. A little low.
Davies as well.
Yeah.
Davies, if you want to go real low end. Not my
just like
thing.
their
You
boat.
can actually get a good cocktail over at Davies.
You can?
I'm
See,
not lying.
See, only you would be able to know that. I mean,
And
my
I
snob
like the
factor
food at Davies
kicks in.
too. That's also like a bar food spot.
Well, you're a better man than I, Gunga Din.
We eat and drink too much downtown. That's for sure.
Wow.
But 1228 Main has a great cocktail bar.
do.
Esther's has a cocktail bar you can't get to other than the one
go
upstairs.
upstairs, yeah.
But because everyone's eating there all the time.
But now you're also missing the bar at Main Street Provisions, which has an
Yes.
amazing cocktail menu.
And a great happy hour menu.
At the happy hour at the bar only is
really
fantastic.
kills. Yeah, it kills it.
You can't sleep on the bar over at 1228. It's actually solid as
Yes.
well, and it's got its own separate area, so I
like
consider
that.
that to be its own sort of thing. And there's a couple others that we also haven't mentioned, which include, I had one in my head just now. Give me a second. Well, there's the tequila bar that's over on Casino Center, which I'm not a fan of.
Mysterio or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
not a fan.
Pepper, and the Pepper Club.
Well, there's Pepper
Yeah.
Club.
That's a great. I enjoy that bar.
Yeah, the tequila bar. And
No, I'm talking. I enjoy the Pepper Club's center bar. That's
Yes,
a fun
yeah,
spot
that's
to
a beautiful,
sit. And
beautiful spot.
yeah, good place to
Now
look
with
around.
Italian food, right?
Yes,
now,
very
good Italian food.
Very
And-
good.
Got rid of the sushi.
Just a futuristic plug here for Bohème. I got a sneak peek that I've got about a dozen great photos of Bohème, completed Bohème, but they will. Out of respect, I'm not going to post
You're
them
on
quite
the
yet.
embargo.
I'm not.
That's what it's called.
I might do it just to do it, but I'm not, out of respect. As I tell them, I'll agree not to post them right now, but I don't want to see the RJ posting them first. Okay,
That's
Now,
fair.
they're going to have a big giant bar in the middle of that.
I remember where I wanted to end this.
Okay.
So I love Bar Ginza too. Great. Also, I like the bar over at Palette, and I know you don't love Palette, but they have a nice little happy hour there as well, and you sit at the bar. Echo is online now. It's a listening bar,
Yep.
which is this concept that is not new to the world, but newer to Vegas. Very pleasant vibe in there. Really liked it. There's another one that's going in that some of the other mover and shakers downtown are involved in. There's going to be another listening bar. But what the hell? I can't remember the name of the place now. It's escaping me. It's over on Commerce. You got to have a reservation and put down a deposit, and they only seat 12 people, and you're not guaranteed to be seated even if you get in, and you have to look up the password on the 725.
I've never even heard of
Yes,
725.
It is
yes.
an Instagram famous place.
Yeah,
Oh, I've never-
We showed a little food writer from out of town who was a Gen Xer or millennial or something, and she knew all about 725. She wanted to go there.
Yeah. So you
do you
look
know
this
about
up.
this, Lakin? No. Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
I've never.
I have not been in there because the 3 times I've wanted to go, I had to go through so many hoops that it discouraged me. And maybe that's what they want. They want to cut out the riffraff of like me from coming in. But you got
that's
You
true.
are a riffraff.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to give them your credit card ahead of time.
That's bullshit.
If
Yeah.
you don't show, they charge you.
That's bullshit.
that's my pet peeve of the week last week. You know,
And you have to look up the
They're
friggin'
asking for a credit
password.
card before you even show up.
Yeah.
This isn't about like ordering a drink and being at the bar and
Yes,
wanting your
you
card.
know, okay.
They want you to put a deposit for the reservation.
If you can get one, because it's a small spot, and then there's an asterisk on the website that says you are not guaranteed a chair.
Shut
And wait for it, Ash. On top of all that, 2 drink minimum,
oh, this is just.
and the drinks are I
Okay.
think in the I don't know because I haven't been.
this offends
They're
my.
like in the $18 range.
this offends my aging boomer.
You
You gotta
ass.
look this up.
725.
725. It's like the
Bar.
word 7 and then number 25, and I believe it's at 725 Commerce. I think they named it after the address, which is a very chic thing.
I feel like
to
it's
do.
already been done.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Well, 1228.
Okay. Well, I hate to wrap this up, folks, but
but-
we're gonna have to go.
Yeah, this is weird. I've got to look into it, but
I will
don't
go
do
with
that.
you if you want to go, but
Yeah.
you're putting your credit card down. I'm not, or maybe we'll make
We'll put
John do
Sam's
it.
down.
Sam,
Sam's, yes,
we're on it. All right,
And
Sam,
on,
thank
and on
you.
that note,
Yeah.
we're going to leave our restaurants for next week, I guess. 'cause-
Yeah, we'll do the restaurants next week because
Yeah.
I need to collect a few. Hey, thanks for
Thanks,
joining us
David.
and
I
running
love
down
the topics.
we really should be drinking some liquid during this,
Yes.
but I guess
I
we
just
were,
came from Vesta where
You're
I got
amped.
the seasonal drink, which had macadamia milk. Sorry.
Ooh.
But it was caramel based. It was a latte.
Okay.
And I
Ooh.
was okay with that.
Look at you.
I was okay with that. And
He
it was
still
right
has some
before
bona
2
fides.
o'clock.
Yeah.
Right
We'll,
before
we'll
2
forgive
o'clock.
you your latte.
Well, thank you for
Iced
joining us.
latte.
Tell people
My
where they
pleasure.
can find you and where they can listen to more of your.
I appreciate that.
yeah.
We're a CityCast Las Vegas. So anywhere where you're listening to podcasts, including this wonderful podcast, you could find us, or you could go to our website, lasvegas.citycast.fm. What they do when you land on that page is they ask if you want to subscribe to the newsletter. It's free. We're not going to do anything funky with your email. And it's a great thing to have in your morning box because
Yeah.
it's a new newsletter that comes out every day. It aggravates. Sometimes it aggravates.
It does.
but it definitely aggregates the news from the 24-hour cycle. It also has wonderful tidbits about our city, interviews with people, and then a calendar of events. Sometimes they have quizzes and stuff. That newsletter, my wife says, I love the newsletter.
Yep.
Occasionally I listen to the podcast.
Well, I love it. And thanks for joining us. Again, like us, subscribe, Eat, Talk, Repeat, and email us. cheers@eattalkrepeat.com.
We got to get you on there, Ash.
Yeah.
Curtis comes on all the time to talk food with. You know what?
come
They
with
don't
him.
let me. They don't let me talk to John for some reason. They think that we're going to be like grumpy old men times 2.
And what's wrong with that?
I don't know, but my co-host Sarah Lohman, who's a food
She's great,
historian,
yeah.
she's
Oh, she's
amazing.
great. Oh,
She has
fabulous,
a
yeah.
knowledge base. She got quoted in the New York Times today. They did a story about shrimp cocktails and the history. So of course they
gosh.
quoted Sarah Lohman on it, of course.
Yeah.
But they only let Sarah at John.
Yeah.
It's maybe better that way, but
Well, you know, maybe genius recognizes genius.
all right. And on that
Okay,
note,
on that
thank
note-
you.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Good night, Canada.
No, those are very fun. Thank you for having me.
Movie with a suitcase.